G'day guys, welcome back to Beers and Breakevens, heading into round 8. Timmy, how are we, my friend?
Good, mate. Nice and fresh after the Easter long weekend.
Bit of camping,
fresh.
I hear?
Yeah, a bit of camping going on. Not as fresh as everyone on the panel this week, but I'm feeling better than most.
Yeah, no, we have got one panel member who's fresh as a daisy.
Heaps better than you, to be fair. You gave it an almighty nudge.
Yeah, that's what I do. I don't fuck around.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
good
no,
to see,
just
actually.
me and it was my brother's 21st on the weekend, so I put the young cap on and
Yeah, you stayed up past 9.
bucked with the best. Mate, I made it closer to 9 a.m.
Oh,
Speaking of fresh as a daisy, we have got kathaddad. She spent some time in reserve grade, went back down, played for Wenty Park. Now she's back up in first grade.
Yeah.
You look very relaxed.
Thank you.
How are we?
I'd like to stay that way, but I know it won't last.
No, it won't
very
last.
long.
If I have anything to do with it, it will not last long.
she looks very relaxed, doesn't she?
Very
As she should,
relaxed.
to be
Yeah,
fair.
she
Thanks,
should.
guys.
How's the SuperCoach side looking?
Not too bad. I probably did a terrible job of my sit V starts, which was my downfall last week. But I still, I got a trade done.
Yes.
I was very proud of myself.
Well done.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
In
Because
full relax mode, getting loose on holidays.
tell me about it.
What was your one trade? Do you remember?
Yeah. I got Kiraz.
Oh,
No, of course you did. I like that.
Yeah.
You got Kiraz too, didn't you?
yeah. Well, I was getting Harry Grant, and then that fell through due to a certain hamstring, and shifted to Kiraz. Went well.
Chaos this week. I got Herbie Farmworth, so we're on different sides of the stream,
That's
which
good.
I like to see.
Yeah, I like that. Nice
Very
and
good.
different.
Now, Timothy James Williams. Is your middle name James? You look like your middle name would be James.
I'll pay that, but no,
What
What
is
is
it?
it?
I don't have one.
Do you
No
really
way.
not?
Yeah, I don't have a middle name.
Oh, good on you, Cletus. Okay.
What's yours?
I'm not telling you mine. Mine's fucking shit house. I get bullied enough for shit in my life. I won't be sharing my middle name.
You
if
look-
anyone in the comments knows it, throw it up.
You look like a...
Honestly, there's not much you could say here that I'd be like, oh, that hurts me more than my actual middle name.
You look like a Neil.
Neil would be heaps better.
No,
Be
knock on
stoked
Neil.
with Neil.
Nothing wrong with Neil. You just look like a Neil.
Neil's, feel free to take it personally if you would like, but
Yeah.
I would much rather Neil than my middle name.
Wow, I need to know it.
Interesting.
Well, you'll be spending 48 hours with Beck soon, who loves to bully me about it.
Yeah,
so-
mad. I'm going to ask.
It was actually in my wedding speech that my father-in-law read out my name and read out my middle name and says, now look, I know it's a girl's name, but I'll let it slide. So you actually have heard it.
Is it
You
Leslie?
were at the wedding. You heard the little...
Is
what?
it Lindsay?
It's not Lindsay. All right, let's get on to SuperCoach. Lindsay would be mad. Let's get on to SuperCoach. So on the weekend, I scored 1,205. Motherfucker.
That's cute.
Yeah, it fucking sucks. I went down 1,971. I'm now outside of the top 10,000, 10,546. Kat, how are you traveling? What's your rank? What's doing?
I did go down this week. Let me just pull up my ranking.
While she's doing that, I didn't want to go to you, but I know you're doing well, so take it away.
1266, so not too bad. Had Captain Pappy, which was looking fantastic after about 15 minutes with a try and an onslaughting coming from the Storm. Did not eventuate. Scored well enough, though, so I'm 3,300 overall, mate.
3,300. That's good.
That's
Well done,
really
mate.
good.
I'm
Thanks.
actually I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you.
I'm
doing
nervous
well,
because
mate.
I still know the gap's not that big. So
It's not that
I'm
big.
not getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, it can change very, very quickly, but
Yeah.
you'd rather be where you are now than where you have been in previous years.
Well, yes, that is correct.
Yeah. I reckon this might be the highest. Well, ever since I've done SuperCoach with you, I reckon this might be the highest you've been the earliest.
Yeah, I'd like to, like last year was, to be honest, didn't actually start that badly last year. It actually went downhill as the season went on. But I'd like to sort of be around here by this time. But yeah, it's normally a slow grind early on.
Yeah, I think last year you were doing okay when everyone was doing the same, making the
Origin
same
period.
choices. Yeah, and then you had
Origin
to
period got
go
me.
and be an
Yeah.
individual, and you just.
Do you
And
want me
Morgan
to-
Smithies happened.
Don't say a bad word about it. Did he have a try assist on the weekend?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, bad
Could have
boys.
used that last year at about
Tell me
round
about it.
13.
Fucking unreal. Kat, what happened? Talk to me.
So I scored 1,099. So as you can imagine, I went down to 23,482.
I mean, you scored 6 less than me, so I don't know what I'm carrying on with. But
Well, I
we say 1,099.
1,099.
Oh no, 106. Sorry, ignore that. Forgot to carry the one.
Yeah.
Literally forgot to carry the one.
Yeah, nice. Well done.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Okay. Should we get into Seamless Tuesday?
Yes.
Now, before we do, Beers and Breakevens in 2025, brought to you by Lontel. We have got a link in the description to go sign up there. And honestly, I want to give them a rap. I want to push some positivity, but I don't think we could have done better than Matty the Waterboy last week explaining. Actually, you take us away. You're there as well.
Yeah, he did well. So basically, internet in Bloke headquarters in the same complex as the Roo Centre of Excellence is not good. So Matty's been...
You know what? It's not bad. Like,
No.
I never have an issue with it. Like, it's okay. But Matty, who's, knows his shit, comes sprinting up here every single Monday.
Well, I did the Playbook podcast last night and you weren't here, but I was going to come up here, but I couldn't get access upstairs to the penthouse.
Shit. Good.
So
Security guard didn't let you in?
No. So I was recording...
We had 4 Burgess brothers on the door.
Yeah, I was uploading from Bloke headquarters and, mate, I think it's still uploading. So it's just Lontel, it gets it done. As you said, Matty sprints up here every Monday after the show to get it done. And it was a good endorsement from Matty the Waterboy.
It was very good. And myself and Kat, we're actually going to Melbourne tomorrow for 2 or 3 days. So I'm going to be pausing the internet here and at home. I'll be doing the same thing at Magic Round when I fall into a Brisbane black hole for 3 days. So one of the great advantages of Lontel, you can pause your internet, not pay it for the days you are not using it, which is absolutely enormous. All right, let's get into TLT. Obviously, with Lontel, guys, you got the free internet for a week if you sign up with the link down below. All right. Thursday, 8 p.m, Broncos v Bulldogs. This one's going to be a cracker. The Broncos, Cobbo moves to fullback. No Reece Walsh. Mariner on the wing. Willison on the edge. For the Doggies, Harry Hayes returns on the bench for Jack Todd. Is there anything you want to touch on in that game, mate?
Not really, other than just a close watch on Selwyn Cobbo this week at fullback, see what his sort of work rate looks like. We know if there's any potential for Cobbo to be running more, that's more tackle bus, offloads, all these good things. So certainly wouldn't be going early on him, if at all, but I am keen to see how it pans out.
Just from talking to a few people over the last 24 hours, and obviously they've come out of the woodwork since playing fullback, a little bit surprised how many people I know actually have Selwyn Cobbo. I think Physio really pumped up his tyres at the start of the season. I think he was very keen on him, so I think he might have influenced a few there.
Does Physio have him?
He did have him. I don't know if he still has him. We'll ask him when he's on the show in 15 minutes. It's just a video, guys. You can't actually ask him questions, Tim. It's just a video, okay?
We'll do it at Magic Round.
Yeah. Can't fucking won't. Friday, 4 p.m, Roosters, Bulldogs, Allianz. For the Chooks, Nwanga Nitawase on the wing, Dom Young out, Egan Butcher, he returns on the bench. Shout out to Egan Butcher. Came back from injury, played New South Wales Cup last week, played about 15 minutes off the bench, straight into the first grade side. A good knock. For the Dragons, Finau on the wing, Gula on the bench. Nwanga Nitawase. One of my favourites, mate. I'm very excited. Shout out to Paddy and Kelmer, who picked up Billy Smith off the waiver wire 2 weeks ago. Now we got both of them in the same side, and fuck me, we need it.
Billy Smith off the wire in draft.
Yeah, I tell you what, I like to give like Natty and Walker a lot of shit about how their comp just misses a lot of things. When I saw him sitting there, I went, why is no one picking him up?
Thank you.
Come to daddy.
Enjoy the 2 weeks pre-injury.
So shit form for you. Such a shit
I'm
bloke.
I'm buying him in SuperCoach, so I didn't mean to be mean.
I don't care about your
Billy.
SuperCoach team. I care about my draft team.
Nwanga speaking of big watches this week, Breakevens 27, so thankfully not too low. He had a 46 in round 3 against the Warriors, so he's relatively well priced at 545k, but a break-even of 27, 66-point average at centre. Mate, on the wing, I just want to see his runs because the bloke tackle bust just about every time he runs the ball. So if he can, he could double his run. He doesn't actually run that much, but on the wing he'll be forced to, especially on kick returns.
Mate, I was about to say, like, his base stats to start the season were actually pretty poor.
Yeah.
Like 25, 19, 21. The last 2 weeks, though, 32 and 30. He does get a lot of stats from this offload and line breaks off the back of it and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see, will we see as much of that? But you're right, it's just a tackle break. He just breaks the first tackle every single time.
It's the power aspect, those, as I said, offloads and tackle bus. So if he can have, push it to, as wingers tend to do, 18 to 20 runs per game, he could be a serious buy. And he covers the 3 major buyouts, 12, 15 and 18.
He does. He does have 3 buys in between that.
He does.
But he does cover those big ones.
He does, but all the buys are on single bye rounds. So across that origin period, the Roosters are the only team to play all 3 majors and all 3 minors.
I like that.
Yeah.
Very
if you
good.
want a deeper explanation on the bye period, we did it on SC Playbook last night. And there's also an article on the SC Playbook website explaining it, how it all works, what the minis are, what the majors are, etc. So check that out. But yeah, important. It's time to cast an eye to it.
Who was on last night?
The Spy and Desi Creek.
Oh, 2 of the greats.
Yeah.
How did Desi go at the football last week?
Enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was seeing green.
Love that. Little personal joke there.
Yeah.
All right. Friday, 6 p.m. Waz Knights from Christchurch for the Waz. CNK at fullback. Torpiki moves back to the wing. Rocco Berry in the centres. Cape Ball returns to the edge. Lecker off the bench for the Knights. Dylan Lucas back on the edge. Thomas Cant goes back to the bench. Would have liked to have seen one more week for Thomas Cant. I'm not going to lie, but I can deal with it.
Yeah, one more would have been ideal, but look, he's done well enough. He's made 140K. He was a reliable scorer as a cheapie the last 2 weeks. Break even of 21, so we don't need to rush to get him out. Like, you could move him this week, but, you know, if one of the edge back rows goes down, he's a starter again, and all of a sudden there's more money to be made. I mean, could also start at lock, right?
Yes. Yep.
Matt
yeah, for
Croker
sure.
there. Wouldn't shock me one bit. So, yeah, I'll be holding another week. I won't play him unless he were to start. I mean, I probably won't play him regardless, to be honest, but I'll be holding one more week and seeing how it plays out.
I mean, there's every chance that Cant does still start on the edge. Dylan Lucas returning from a hammy.
Yes.
I don't know if you'd be starting him front up anyway. And by the way, I would be having a little, if you're going to have a little sneaky, responsible punt this week.
Let me have a guess.
Yeah.
Is it Margie running at Torpiki?
No, I'd be jumping on Lecker because he's been named on the bench, so his value is a little bit higher than it should be. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he does start in that game.
Yeah, don't hate it.
Little play there, but I don't mind the Marchu against Torpiki. What about Greg the Leg last week? My God.
Oh, my.
Jesus
Mate,
Christ. Like a couple of marbles in a sock. He's all over the place. Can't be touched.
That try assist, like, I haven't sat down and broken up the numbers, but I think it was 40-plus points.
I counted it. There was heaps.
Heaps.
Just fucking heaps.
Yeah, one of the great SuperCoach plays.
It goes 9, 10, 11 fucking heaps. And that's how many were in it.
Most tackle breaks in a game of all time via random stats guy.
Wowee.
Beating Tom Trebojevic.
Of course.
21.
I like that. Good gear. Friday, 6 p.m. Already done that game. Fuckhead. Friday, 8 p.m. Storm v Broncos, Amy Park. Myself and Catmandu, we're going to be at this one. Very, very keen for a Anzac Day at Amy Park. For the Melbourne Storm, Nick Manny returns at centre. Garlic at 9. Lazarus Falipo on the bench. Nelson Sofa-Solomona on the extended. For the Bunnies, Trell Mitt at fullback. Bentley Harper on the wing. Campbell Graham moves into the centres. Bud Sullivan returns at 7. Aitken is on the edge. Jai Arrows in jersey 13 and Gray is in 14. I should have just told you who wasn't moving in the South Sydney side, mate. That was a lot.
Would have been easier. Do we know much about Bentley Harpe?
Not a heap. No,
So
not a heap.
If he lobs on that left wing, be an interesting watch. How long was AJ out for?
I don't think he's out for too long, but God knows anymore with AJ, the poor bugger.
Yes.
It's hard to tell. But I think, did he play one game earlier in the season, Bentley Harpe? I thought he did. I reckon he might have played one game earlier in the season. I could be wrong though. But yes, Troll Mitt.
Yeah, he played round 2 against the Dragons on the wing. A tremendous 18 points.
Ooh.
I don't know what wing he was on, but yes, I mean it's just you want to be Bunny's left winger.
Yeah. Latrell Mitchell back at fullback as well. They're probably the big news coming out of that one there. Let's move to Saturday, 5:30. Obviously, no 3 p.m. game. We have got the Cowboys and the Titans. For the Cowboys, obviously coming off a bye last week, but the team is as we expected there. Nothing wild, nothing cowboy, as you might say. Excuse the pun.
Oh, goodness.
For the Titans, Campiero returns on the wing. Randall and Firma on the edges. Weaver in the 7 once again. Fafita coming off the bench. Sounded like Fafita was going to be out for a month or so, but he has been named this week, so we'll watch that one pretty closely. Anything in that game you want to touch on, mate? I
don't. How was that mid-round injury carnage last week when one of the most popular trade-ins for Fafita, he was ruled out because of his hammy. Then Hope Grant got ruled out because of his hammy. I think that was Jaden Campbell.
Jaden Campbell.
You messaged me and said something like Rip Campbell or something, and I was like, okay, cool. And I'd actually missed the news. I was down the coast and it was service wasn't at a premium. And then when I got around to it and I saw it, I was like, oh, that's what he meant. He's out for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But it was carnage.
I was my draft game this weekend. The guy I was playing, I took Keeney first pick. He took Dave Fafita. Yeah. Both were ruled out this week. And my other mate was giving me shit going, that's what you get for taking Titans first picks, you fucking Derricks. Anyway, his second pick was Jaden Campbell. 6 hours later, he got ruled out as the best karma I've ever seen. Fuck you, Nick. Love to see
Cop
it.
that.
Saturday, 7:35, Penrith v Manly at Combank for the Panthers. Somerton is at 9. Mitch Kennedy obviously got a 2-week suspension. Tungo returns at centre. Geyer on the bench. Shout out to Geyer as well. Had a blinder in Cup last week. Didn't shock me to see him named. For the Manly Seagulls, young fella at fullback, Tom Travojevic, Jake's brother. Lehigh moves to the wing. Jazz in 13. And, mate, we caught it in the preseason on bloke. Tommy Tallow, jersey 14. I like it. Nothing to do with SuperCoach whatsoever.
They use him in the back row?
I reckon they could. I reckon he's a big enough body to be able to do it.
Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, maybe just keep him there. And I mean, he's no stranger to picking wingers on the bench, not using them. But I think Tommy Tallow is big enough to be able to maybe use him in that sort of role. No, but Turbo's the big one. Can I ask you a question? I've got my hand raised, Mr. Williams.
Nathan Lindsay.
Thank you. Heaps better. Why in fuck's name are the Manly Seagulls bringing Turbo back the week before a bye? Can someone explain it to me? This is your entire franchise relying on those legs, and they're bringing him back the week before a bye?
I have no idea.
Oh, fucking... And you know what? I've done this before where I look at it and I go, oh, they won't play him. Common sense says they won't. And constantly they do the opposite of what I think they're going to do. So I think he probably does play.
If he does his ham, he'll get injured in any way. Heads need to roll.
Heads need to roll. It's insanity.
Yeah.
It's not round 22. You're not like, you've got so much further to go in this season. Why on earth you would play him literally the week before a bye?
I know the logic is. And like, all right, they're in a little bit of a form slump, but they're not going that bad. Like they've won enough games, and
they will win enough games,
and they will win games, especially with a fit Tom Trbojevic. I don't know, mate.
Insane. Anything else touch on in that game, mate?
No, we are good.
Sunday, 2 p.m, Raiders, Finn, GIO Stadium. For the Raiders, no changes there. Have we got a conversation at any point today about Horsburgh and whatnot?
No.
Okay, so Hosking came on through the middle last week. Corey Horsburgh played less minutes than what he has previously. My question to you is, do you think Nicholson has won that role, or do you think coming from hot Darwin to hot Gold Coast, maybe just trying to manage his minutes of the middle forwards? I tend to lean towards Nicholson has just outright won that role. What do you think?
Off the back of last week, I'd lean towards he's won it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, like, right, it was Hosking's first game back from injury.
Yep.
Pretty substantial injury history for Zach Hosking. So, I don't know. Like, Hosking has been so good for us. Hosking is so good on the edge, and so has Nicholson been. We've got a lot of middle forwards. Like, I would have thought that they would have probably shared... like I think we said it last week, that Nicholson might play like 60 to 65 on the edge. And then, Hosking plays a big time on the edge and then plays to the middle. But look, based on last week, he might have just won the 80-minute edge roll, Nicholson.
Like, he played 40 minutes through the middle, Hosking.
Yeah.
He didn't play 20. He played 40 minutes. Like, it's a good whack.
It looks like Nicholson's won it.
We'll see how it plays out this week. But Corey Horsburgh will be an interesting conversation. Stoked I traded him to Mitch Moses in draft a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people wanting to cut ties with Corey Horsburgh. And look, I get it, because there are certainly higher upside players available, like especially when you look at 2RF and people are moving him to something like an Eliesa Katoa or whoever it might be, so like a big dog. But, if he does stay sub 50 minutes, there's a bit of a concern. But like, he played 48 minutes last week for 53 points, pretty solid. The week before, he played 45 minutes for 68 points. His base is enormous. He offloads. His dual position. By coverage, I mean, he's going to be in the origin frame, to be fair, but he does play around 12 and 18. So, he's not causing any headaches at all. So, and then that's the other thing. If there's any injuries in the Raiders team, he can play bigger minutes.
He does
easily.
automatically.
Yeah. So, I'm not looking to sell him at the moment. If there's a few more weeks of sub 50 minutes, maybe, but yeah, I'm happy enough with the Red Dog.
Oh, mate, if Corey Horsburgh is your biggest problem in your team right now, kissed on the dick by a fairy. You're doing very well.
And then he's add in as well, like, I currently have Corey at front row and I have Tino down at 2RF. So I'm able to interchange those two as well. If I get rid of Corey, I would have to move Tino up.
Yep.
And I lose that dual flicking around, which is bloody handy.
All right, we are back. Oh, we just had some carnage in the studio. Want to run us through it, Timbo?
Tommy Sangster, the chief officer of NRL SuperCoach, came storming into the studio, grabbed Kat, told us she was being investigated for trade hoarding, and yeah, so we don't know when we'll see her again, whether she's getting locked away for it, but yeah, it's caught up with her.
Yeah, look, she gets what she deserves. Now, if you are on YouTube watching, I'm on the 1s and 2s, so brace yourself for a lot of Tim talking and me just sitting here doing sweet fuck all, a lot of me talking and Tim just sitting there looking pretty. So we'll see how we go. I'm not known for wearing many hats, Timbo, but we'll see.
Mate, I've got a great view of this as well, and you looking after this. So, last time this happened, and you had to hit the 1s and 2s, or in today's case, I think you mentioned it was the 1s and 3s. It's the
1s and 4s today.
1s and 4s today.
My fingers almost don't reach both of them. It's carnage.
Yeah, so it didn't go too well. So I'll try not to speak over the top of you. I'll let you finish so that you've got time to comprehend it and hit your 1s and 4s, Guru. So I'll give you breaks in between to make sure you get it right.
Oh, that's a smooth 1 to 4 there. That's good. All right, Dolphins, they're taking on the Raiders. For the Finn, Francis Molo, he starts in the front row. We've got Nichols in the 13. Max Plath returns in the 9 jersey. Obviously got injured last week. I'm expecting him to play this week. If not, he will be back next week. Anything on that game, Timbo?
Nah, nothing else to add around the Dolphins for me, mate.
All right. Didn't give me enough time to press the number 4 there. Sunday, 4:05 p.m. Tigers Sharks coming in from Leichhardt Oval. For the Tigers, Adam Dewey named at centre. Lockie Galvin returns at 5'8". Royce the Choice Hunt on the bench. For the Sharkies, Hiroti remains in the centre spot. No sign of Iro at all. I'm expecting him back next week. And Hal Tapua comes onto the bench for Toby Rudolph. Timbo, that game. Talk to me. The Tiger Sharks.
Yeah, I mean, the big winner there is obviously Hiroti owners with no Iro named or nowhere to be seen at all. So he'll get another nice cash rise. Whether or not he maintains a spot when Iro comes back, there's a bit of chat that maybe he takes Sammy Stonestreet's wing. I don't think he will, but, there's potential, of course. And yeah, the Tigers is just, I think, probably a watch around that 5'8" spot naturally. And Latu Fainu, nowhere to be named, I think he's still injured. So when Latu comes back, potentially next week, if he comes into the 5'8" role, I have no idea what's going to happen, but he's a genuine cheapie option at 5'8".
Yep, for sure. Completely agree. And the Parramatta Eels, they have the bye this week. Now, I've just realised that the NRL Physio is coming on to talk to us. I don't have the slightest fucking idea how to put that in. So we'll see how that goes. You might get Physio, you might not. I don't know, but Physio, a great man. Let's have a look and throw to him now.
All right, boys, let's jump straight into it. The SuperCoach relevant injuries for this week. We've got Dave Fafita named earlier than Dez's shenanigans over the weekend, and Dylan Lucas coming back from his 6 weeks off with the hamstring injuries. Look, I guess the biggest thing with hammies is the most significant risk. We all know hammy's known for re-injury risk. The most significant is in the first 2 weeks back. So the risk is about 10 to 12%, and then it drops down from the 3rd week to about 4 to 5%, and then even further again. So once you get about 3 to 4 weeks in, the risk is quite significantly lower. But look, even talking about that 10 to 12%, you're talking 1 out of 10 times a guy's going to get injured in those first 2 weeks. 9 out of 10, he's going to be okay. So Fafita, I don't think it's shenanigans, because I had heard that it was just tightness and they weren't too worried about it. I was actually a bit surprised with Des kind of saying the 4 weeks over the weekend. So look, even he's named on the bench, so I just think that's a no-go from me with the added re-injury risk. Dylan Lucas, on the other hand, really low break even, named to start. He's taken the full 6 weeks, so it was initially thought to be 6 weeks. They've kind of given him that full 6 weeks. They haven't rushed him back or anything like that. So I'm pretty confident in Dylan Lucas as a buy. There is some, as we said, re-injury risk there, but I just think the upside is too great. I'm happy to jump on there. The big injuries from the week just gone: Harry Grant, Jaden Campbell and Reece Walsh. Any of those guys due back early. Harry, I think, is going to miss the next 2 weeks, so around 8 and 9. I think he'd be pushing for a return in round 10. Once again, being a hammy, re-injury risk is there. So, but if you can hang on to Grant for those couple of weeks, you might get him for round 10 and 11 before Origin goes on break. Jaden Campbell, I think it's at least a month with that syndesmosis injury. I know a lot of people are talking about holding Jaden Campbell through that because 5'8's a bit of a tricky position. But yeah, I just think best case scenario, you're looking at maybe round 11, but they've got the bye in round 12, so it's just as likely to be round 13. So yeah, you're without him for the next kind of 5 or 6 rounds, which is just, probably too long for my reading with 700 grand in the bank. And then syndesmosis injuries, which it is, high ankle sprains, there can be some performance implications when they come back. So can have some agility restrictions, those kind of things. Reece Walsh, very, very, probably even worse with the performance implications on return. 4 to 6 weeks is pretty accurate for those higher grade PCL injuries, but even when he comes back, guys are very rarely 100% when they come back. They're usually dealing with some agility problems, some speed issues, those kind of things. So yeah, he is absolutely a sell from my eyes. And then Max Plath, he definitely is a chance to play this week. With the plantar fascia injury, it's a ligament under the foot. It's more like a pain management, pain tolerance kind of issue. He's definitely not a buy because he could aggravate that pain during the game, be restricted in his minutes, those kind of things. So yeah, not a buy as a Harry Grant replacement, for example, in my eyes. But if he gets through the next kind of 3 to 4 weeks, he could be a good buy over the origin period if he misses out for Queensland. As always, guys, Magic Sponge podcast, if you want to learn more about the injuries, it is out now. Check it out.
Oh, the great man chiming in once again. We can't wait to catch up with him in Magic Crowd. Now, Timmy, the standout from that conversation for me is his confidence in Dylan Lucas. Now, I myself, not a physio of note, I'm a little bit too concerned to buy him this week, but physio seems very confident there.
Got me, mate? My on screen?
Yeah, you're on now. You're on.
Well done,
Yeah.
Yeah, very confident. I won't be touching him.
Yeah.
I'm also not a physio of note, I should say, but I mean, coming back from the hamstring injury, I think he's break-even to early 20s, so there is money to be made on him straight away. And for those who will probably pick him up in coming weeks leading into the origin period, you probably are going to have to pay a little bit more if you don't go this week. But, mate, I'm not buying a bloke come back from a hamstring injury, straight away in that first week when there's so many other good buys around. And just the other one there was Jaden Campbell, who I think we're both owners, and a lot of people out there looking at trying to hold him through this injury just because the 5'8 position isn't crash hot at the moment, and a lot of standout options when it looks like Jaden Campbell, every chance to be the number one there. But, mate, when he said that he won't be back till probably around 13, maybe 11 at best, that's too much money on the bench for me, so I'm selling. I
agree with you. As a Jaden Campbell owner, I need to make a move there. Now, that's going to be our talking point. Sixes. We're at 6s and 7s, you might say. Shout out to Piercy and Carney. Great podcast. 5'8 is going to be our talking point here. Now, I'm a Jaden Campbell and a Cameron Munster owner, so it doesn't overly concern me this week. But, Timmy, I'm looking around the room, and 5'8, excuse the French, but it fucking sucks. I have no idea what I'm meant to do here. The only other guy that I really want is Dill Brown. He's got a bye this week. So I'm sort of thinking I'm going to wait a week, move Jaden Campbell to him next week. When you look around the 5'8 room, tell me what you see.
How funny is it? Like, I'm a Campbell and Brown owner, and I wanted pieces of the Melbourne Storm pie, and I was looking at going Grant last week before that injury. He was actually traded into my team, and then I reversed with the news that he was out. So I've got Pappenhausen in that spine. So Munster looks like the obvious one with a decent draw to come, despite obviously the origin concern and potentially rests around there backing up. So Dill Brown, though, averaging 61 points this season, has been pretty ordinary. Jared's a bit of junk time here and there, etc., etc. But I've had him since round 1, and now all of a sudden people might be looking to move him in next week because of the Jaden Campbell injury and 5'8 not looking great. At the start of the season, I brought him in because I was just like, I didn't like anyone else overly in the position. It was sort of him and Cam Munster. And now he's just like, he's just in there. He's doing a job. Yeah, he's averaging 61. It's not great, but he's very solid each and every week. The same thing happened last year. I had him, I think, all season. Obviously had good origin coverage, being a Kiwi, not worried about origin selection there. Very durable Dylan Brown, and didn't set the world alight, but just didn't cause me headaches all year. So, yeah, Munster and Brown look the two to me. What do you're looking at maybe Brown next week?
Yeah, I think Brown will be the play for me. I guess the only other one, mate, that I would consider is Matty Burton. But I think I'd rather just go with the consistent points of Dill Brown. He's got his safety blanket back in Mitch Moses now. So I think Parramatta are actually going a half-decent little run here, to be honest with you. So I will be going to Dill Brown next week is my plan, barring another clusterfuck of a million decisions to be made next week. But that's what I'm leaning towards. Talk to me about Matty Burton, mate. Any interest there?
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's no need to probably rush on him, but he's very lowly owned. I do want, like I've got Kiraz now. I wouldn't mind a few pieces of the Bulldogs. There's not a lot that really stand out. They're just playing such good footy. Matty Burton, I think people will probably flock to certainly Munster, who's already quite heavily owned, and Dill Brown. But I don't mind the Matt Burton play. Obviously didn't goal kick last week. That'd be the only concern. Stephen Crichton's been hitting very well in his absence. What do you reckon?
Yeah, not for me. I'm going to go with Dill Brown. I don't know what it is with Burton, mate. I just don't trust week to week he's going to go big enough to warrant it. Whereas Dill Brown, I sort of know week to week. And whether it is junk time tries, whatever it is, he just seems to find his way to 60 just about every single week. And whether it's luck, whatever the fuck it is, I don't care. He does it every week. He's been doing it every week for years now. So I lean towards Dill Brown. Obviously not an Origin player. Not that Burton's going to play Origin, but Dill Brown, he's safe as houses there. So I'm happy to back him in as far as 5/8s go. Anything else on Sixers, mate?
Mate, just sort of scrolling through any potential other options. And obviously there isn't a lot there at the moment. Blaze Talangi's certainly one to keep an eye out for. I mean, I wouldn't jump on him early just because job security is obviously quite poor, but we know the talent he's got with ball in hand. Blaze Talangi was decent last week, so maybe he can hold a spot there next to Nathan Cleary. But yeah, going down the list, and I'm looking at most top averaging players, there's not a lot there. AJ Brimson's been a little bit underwhelming with the 50-point average. Ethan Strange, he's had 2 massive weeks. He's set to skyrocket in price. But, you know, it does look probably a short-term fix. I don't want to be wasting trades around 5/8 too often. Like, I've already had to I went Metcalf to Jaden Campbell. I'm going Campbell to probably Cam Munster this week, I reckon. If you get Ethan Strange, you'll be flipping him to someone in coming weeks as well. I mean, you could sit around and wait for potentially like a Latu Fainu. Like, if Latu Fainu does start for the Tigers when he's back from injury alongside Jerome Luai, he's dirt cheap and you could make some cash there. What are your thoughts, mate? Like, is there anyone else that you could go with?
Mate, as I said, I just think 5/8 looks like an absolute shit show at the moment. So they're the only one, mate. Even Burton, I'm hesitant with. Dill Brown's honestly the only one that really jumps out to me. There's no one else on that list that I can trust.
I mean, I'm not doing it, but I do want to flag it off the back of. We had a big chat on the Bloke podcast on Tuesday. It was this week around. No Reece Walsh, just how different the Broncos' attack's going to look because it's all so centred around Reece Walsh and getting him those 3-on-3s. He uses his speed, gets 3-on-2s. Ben Hunt has to have a bigger role in attack with Walsh out, I think. So, like, he's dirt cheap at $4.25K. He scored 20 last week. Ben Hunt has had bugger all attacking stats here. We know that he's got them in him. So this season, scoring awfully. He scored 1 try and had 3 try assists. Since round 3, he hasn't scored a try or had a try assist. $4.25K. We know there's a bit of upside there. Not saying anyone should run and jump onto Ben Hunt this week, especially like they're playing the Bulldogs, the best defence in the NRL. He's averaging 42, but if we're looking at value, there's absolutely value in Ben Hunt, who I think goes a lot better without Reece Walsh.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think the logic is there. I'm not convinced on Ben Hunt and just how he's. I don't know if you'd say how he's fitting into this Brisbane system or whatever, but I think Hookridge is better position. I think the thing is just going to be, does that mean he plays 50 minutes? That's the concern there, isn't it?
Mate, what about Cody? No, you wouldn't do it this week.
I'm not doing this with you.
You were going to start the season with him before he got injured.
I know, and I didn't. And there's a reason why. I think, mate, he's already carrying a hammy injury as I switch between 1 and 4 because I'm fucking good at what I do. Mate, watching him this season, I don't think he's playing badly, Cody Walker. The stats just are not falling his way in any way, shape, or form, and I'm not sure what changes over the next few weeks to make them fall his way.
But that chat, to me, like, says, this is Cody Walker. I understand his age. He's, 35 or whatever. He's a gun attacker. And that's still in his game. As you said, he's not playing bad footy. The attacking stats just aren't falling his way. They will. And keep in mind, like, he's $350K with a break-even of 88 and he plays Melbourne in Melbourne this week. He probably scores 40 or 50 this week if he's lucky. He's going to be near $300K next week with Latrell Mitchell back at fullback, The Bunnies hopefully get some players back from injury. That backline's starting to look pretty hot. Goes, Knights, Broncos, Tigers. He plays the second and third major bye rounds. Like, as I said, we're not talking 500 or 600k Cody Walker. We're talking 300k that you don't even have to play. And he's dual 5'8" just for a kicker. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy, but I also think it's crazy for a reason, though.
If he comes out this week, and I know coulda, shoulda, woulda, etc. If he comes out and puts like 75 on the Storm and they look good with Latrell back,
more than capable of doing.
Which is more than capable of doing, he could be the most traded in player next week.
Yeah, quite possibly. 27 average. That is the rankest thing I have ever seen.
I will say, and it very slightly flatters it, but 13 last week against the Bulldogs. Bunnies didn't score a point against the Doggies. He was taken off after 57 minutes because they were getting spanked and they gave him an early shower. The week before he got injured, he played a half a footy against the Roosters. He was on 9 at halftime. I get it, but the 27-point average, look, it's at least a 30.
Sure. And, if you take out those 2 injury-affected games, like he's played 4 games, in 2 of those he went 28 and 27. One of them he scored a try and got 48. It's it's grim reading for Cody Walker. But, mate, the price is the price. He's at incredible value. We know he's better than that. As you said, the duel as well is fucking delicious. Definitely worth considering. All right, let's move. Bluewealth Property are rent vesting. They've got another webinar on Tuesday, the 29th of April. That one kicks off at 7 p.m. The great Australian dream has changed, and with housing affordability becoming harder every year, many Aussies are turning to the alternative of rent vesting. Now, you people right now watching Beers and Breakevens, you are very lucky. We have got the Wally Lewis, the Andrew Johns of rent vesting in the building right now. The one and only, the great Tim Williams. Explain to us, mate, rent vesting. Hit us for 6.
Live where you want to live, buy where it's smart to buy. So, no. I've had a bit of practice at this, to be fair. I should be getting it right. So,
you nail it.
I want to live in Wollongong, cost you an arm and a leg, and the rest, probably a head as well, to try and buy down there at the moment. So a bit expensive, but you want to get into the market. So I'll rent down there, and in a perfect world, I'll buy on the Sunshine Coast or Perth or regional Victoria or wherever the market's booming and it's the right time to buy. So, you don't have to buy and live in the house and live out wherever you don't want to live. So there you go.
Now, in this webinar, Bluewealth Property, they will break down all the benefits of rent vesting and whatnot. So make sure you go and hit the link down here below. Go and sign up. I know we had about 8 people that signed up to watch last week, which was great to see. Tuesday, 29th of April, 7 p.m. It is a webinar. You can be in your pajamas. You can be in your Reg Grundy sitting at home Tuesday night watching beers. No, that'll be out the next day. You can be watching My Team List Tuesday. You can be watching the SC Playbook podcast. Yeah. You can have it on the side. Get a little bit of education, help you out on a Tuesday night. Rent vesting with Bluewealth Property, Tuesday the 29th of April, 7 p.m. via webinar. Even if it's not information that you're going to use right now, great to have in your back pocket when the time comes for you to be able to get on the dog and bone to Bluewealth Property and help you out in that regard. Link is in the description. Now, the Beers and Breakevens SuperCoach League Code 295466. That thing has to be very close to shutting up shop.
Yeah, I'm feeling. We actually can't access it. We need Kat for that, but
she's also in jail, so we can't say
she's in jail, so we can't even talk. She gets one call, and she didn't call last shot.
Yes,
I reckon it's round 9. I'm feeling round 9. So I reckon you've got. What are we, round 8 this week?
Yeah.
I reckon next Thursday night at kickoff, I reckon that tournament will lock out.
Yeah, there's a very good chance it locks out there, so make sure you jump in there. Now, I have got an apology to make. In the clusterfuck that was last week when Kat wasn't available, I actually read out the wrong person that won last week. So shout out to Justin. He sent me a very, very abusive message, which I deserved and appreciated. So Sack of Potatoes, he won last week. Great name. 1,475, which is very good to see. Apologies to you, Justin. We'll get you sorted out, big dog. Messaged me, Timmy, and he goes, mate, that was my moment and you took it away from me, you motherfuckers. And I was like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'll take ownership for that.
But he's got it back.
He's got it back now. He's back on the front foot. So shout out to you, brother. This week's winner is the Met Goats. coached by Stephen, 1,477. A very good knock, the top scorer in Biz and Breakevens this week. Jumped up 1,821 spots to have a rank of 137. So the Met Goats, they are flying in the top 138. Great to see. Send us an email, mate, bizandbreakevens@gmail.com. Send me your address, send me your name, send me some more details about yourself too. I'd like to get to know you, and then we can send out a prize to you over the next few weeks. Okay. My favourite time of the week. Timmy, stat, deep, dive. Let's fuck Timbo. Talk to me.
That was a good lift from you, mate.
Thank you.
Good solo lift.
Hard solo.
Yeah.
The thirst crusher. Let's go.
I'm starting hot this week, Roo.
Yeah.
Scott
Oh,
Drinkwater.
I'm interested.
Yeah. Scott Drinkwater. So I want to look at Drinky's floor. There's a bit of a myth around, Drinky can go low when he doesn't get attacking stats. He can punch out 30s and 40s, which may have been true back in the day a few years ago, but it just hasn't been in recent years. What I wanted to really get to the bottom of it as someone interested in potentially buying him this week. So last week, there were no tries or no try assists for Scott Drinkwater, 78 points, which is outstanding, obviously, but it could be a one-off. I had a look at 2024 season, games without any tries or try assists. He had scores of 49, 81, 59, 57 and 48 for an average of 58.8. For an attack-reliant player, that is pretty good going. Note also, he didn't goal kick in this period. He had one conversion as a one-off, but that's all right. His next 5 games are also played in Queensland, 4 of them in Townsville. I was interested to see that his home average last year in Townsville was 77.75, down on his 79 season average. So actually averaged a little bit more away from home, which is a bit reassuring. But yeah, all signs point to a drink.
Mate, I came in today thinking that I was going to make the move of Gutho to him. And I was a little bit 50-50 on it, but those stats, they talk to me. They sing to me. I'm very, very interested. We'll get to our trades very soon, but Drinkwater is one that I'm very, very keen on and will likely trade in this week. Going to zig while others zag. It's not my biggest zag of the week. Save that for later. Some big old zag coming. But Scott Drinkwater, one that I'm considering. Let's talk about Paul Brandy Alamoti on the wing for the Panthers. Talk to me.
I really like Alamoti as a pod on the right wing at the Panthers. So he's played 3 games this season with Nathan Cleary and Dylan Edwards. He's had scores in that time of 69, 19 and 105. The 19, that was that game 2 weeks back where he had a sin bin. There were 14 in negative stats. Not his night, so be it. So he's got a 63-point average in the 3 games with Dylan Edwards and Nathan Cleary on the right wing. In those games, he's had 34 in base, 17.4 runs per game. Mate, the Panthers are just going to pepper that right edge, I reckon, with Dylan Edwards back. We know that's where he attacks. It's the edge of Nathan Cleary. We saw him score a double there last week. The 2 tries he scored were pretty well untouched from memory as well. I'd probably have to bypass Billy Smith to do it, when you look at the money and all that, I don't know if it's worth the risk, but I really like the Alamoti play.
I don't mind it. I wouldn't be doing it at the expense of Billy Smith, though, in my opinion. I think the money to be made on Billy Smith, and I think the points you'll get from Billy Smith will be handy as well. But Paul Alamoti, I don't mind it.
He has a break-even of 56, so it's not a move that has to be made this week as such. The 105 is in his rolling average. The 19 will drop out of that rolling average the week before, so that break-even will be very low come next week, pending what happens, of course, against the Sea Eagles. They do have a bye in round 11, but look, maybe it's one where I just go, get through round 11, get to round 12, which Penrith play. Granted, Cleary and Edwards will be out, which doesn't help, but look to jump on him then. But yeah, I think there's some good scores incoming for Paul Alamoti.
Is there any concern about him, like if he moves back to centre,
Yes,
which
there
I
is.
think there's every chance he could. I'm a bit surprised he's continued to play wing. I would have thought, personally, if I was coaching them, I would have moved him to left centre 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I found that bizarre how they haven't made that change. To'o to come back in, so you would assume that probably means Jenkins drops out of the side, but
Jenkins or McLean.
Jenkins, well, one of them has to drop out, and it wouldn't surprise me if it does mean that Alamoti does potentially move to left centre eventually. I mean, Isaac Tungo was dropped out of the side last week too, so I'd prefer him on the wing. If he does move to centre, I wouldn't be stoked about it.
The bye, not say You get there, mate?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Giddy up.
Yeah. Not to say he wouldn't score well and go decently at centre on either side, but the buy of Paul Alamoti is being on the right wing.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. All right, let's talk about Little Pappy and his hoof. Talk to me.
Pappy's hoof. Do you know what we're getting at here?
I do now. I thought it was an autocorrect to roof, but let's go. Hoof. Talk to me.
Goal kicking.
Yeah.
Nick Meaney back this week.
Yeah.
Who goal kicks? So nobody knows as it stands. Pappy probably knows. Meaney probably knows. Craig Bellamy probably knows. But we don't know. We can only look at stats and percentages in the past. So in 2025, Ryan Pappenhausen, he's hitting them well. A 90.5% conversion rate this season. He's got a career average of 80.4%. Nick Meaney in 2025, also hitting them well. 84.6% conversion rate. His career at the Storm as a goal kicker since 2022 is 77.1%, so a little bit down on Pappy's career average. Over at the Dogs a few years back now, had a lot of kicks there, and he was 72.8%. Who goal kicks do we think? And worth noting as well, Meaney coming back from a jaw injury, so it's not like it's a foot or knee or hammy or whatever, so that shouldn't impact it. What do we reckon?
I apologise for being not overly helpful. I have not the slightest idea. Genuinely. I'm not a Ryan Pappenhausen owner, so I haven't paid attention to it overly closely as much as most of you guys have, as much as you have, Timmy. But I mean, Meaney, he goal kicked last year, didn't he? Over Pappy?
He did, but that, like, Pappy originally goal kicked for the Storm with Meaney there, but then he had his injuries.
Yeah.
So when he was coming back from these injuries, Meaney was just there, safe and hitting them. So Pappy's basically regained them with Meaney out, and he's hitting them unbelievably well.
Well, based on that, it sort of says Pappy to me, but neither will surprise me. I think there's every chance we won't know unless, if I was Pappy, I'd be saying it on that podcast because that'll get it another 100,000 hits this week. But in fact, I'm confident we will know it on the podcast. He's smart enough to know what to do there.
He's good at what he does.
He's very good at what he does.
But yeah, look, my gut says Pappy kicks just because he's been hitting him so well. But it'd be not that it's going to change any trade plans or Pappy plans. I'm holding on to him indefinitely, but it does impact captaincy plans, which is important.
Nope, just put on the wide shot, which has an empty chair in it. Good to see. Okay, let's go to, you've got Cleary Origin here. Is this a bold prediction from Tim Williams that Nathan Cleary's going to play Origin this year?
Yeah, look, I'm going to go out on a limb, mate, and it's I know people will hate it, but I think he will.
Big call on Jet Cleary.
No. Mate, this one's actually via the SC Playbook WhatsApp chat from Maxi Bryden, dropped it in there last night. And it's just doing a bit of Origin buy planning, casting an eye ahead. Cleary, Penrith have the buy in round 11.
Yep.
So he'll obviously not be playing there. Round 12, Origin, so he won't be playing there. Round 13, they back up from Origin. It's a Sunday game. Barring any knocks in Origin, I would imagine he backs up from that one. Round 14 against the Tigers, he'll be good for that. Round 15 has the Panthers have the bye and he's on Origin duty, so no game there. Round 16, backs up from Origin on the Saturday, which is in New Zealand after a game, Origin in Perth. So you would suggest, especially with already having had a hammy issue this year, unlikely.
Is that the longest flight in rugby league outside of Vegas?
Far out,
It'd have to be, wouldn't it?
Jeez.
That's a nudge.
Perth should NZ.
Yeah, that's a huge nudge.
Bulldogs in round 17, he'll play there. Round 18, they're on the bye. And then round 19, post-Origin 3, Parramatta probably plays that. Maxie goes on to say, in 9 games from round 11, he looks like he'll play 4 of them, including 2 games where he backs up. Hughes and Nico will both play 7 of 9 rounds in the same period. So, not that you're going to act differently now and et cetera. You probably buy him if you don't have him. But just one to note that Cleary to Hughes in a few weeks' time, that could really be on the cards.
Yeah, a huge one to note there. Only playing 4 games in that period. That could be a big concern. Connor Tracy, talk to me about the Canterbury Bulldogs fullback, mate.
Short and sharp, mate. I've spoken about him before. Not the deepest of dives, but he's averaging 18.6 runs per game, 3 tackle busts per game. He's had 4 tries and 2 try assists, averaging a very healthy 64 points per game. Dual CT dub fullback. Broncos this week in Queensland into the Titans, Raiders, Roosters, Dolphins. He plays rounds 12, 15 and 18, the 3 major bye rounds. you could do a lot worse than Connor Tracy. He might not have the big upside or the big ceiling, but this dog side of firing, he has great bye coverage, his dual position, he ticks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, bloody oath. I think the point there, you could do much worse than Connor
Oh,
Tracy.
yeah.
Very good. All right, let's get into our trades, mate. Now, as it stands, guys, it is Wednesday morning. This week has been an absolute clusterfuck. We'll tell you what we're thinking right now, but if this does change before the end of the week, I apologise to absolutely no one. I am very up in the air at the moment. I've got my 3 that I'm doing right now, but these could change. So if you're an SC Playbook subscriber or you're in the Roo Crew, you will hear more about them in there. But at the moment, Timbo, what are you doing, mate? Talk to me.
Yeah, so sort of to touch back on it, Easter Monday, the Easter Monday game, Supercoach locking out Tuesday morning. We did the 4-hour bloke podcast on Tuesday into Playbook, into your team, this stuff. It's Wednesday morning now we're recording, so...
And this morning's been a clusterfuck, by the way, a rugby league clusterfuck.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on. But, mate, I do think 2 of mine will be locked in at this stage. Jaden Campbell to Cam Munster. I think Munster's ticking along nicely, 71 average, always threatens to break out, loves an Anzac Day clash, so that makes sense to me. And then Christian Tuipulotu, who I still own, down to Billy Smith. That leaves me 440k, mate. Where I've got decisions to make is what, if anything, I do with that. I've got a pretty strong 17 this week. I can definitely strengthen it with that last trade, but I've got Isaiah Iongi, who, mate, he looked terrific with Mitch Moses back last week.
Yep.
Had 76 points, 2 tries, had a sim in there as well. So the third one would be, if I want to do it, just Iongi to a gun fullback. Is that Tedesco? Is that Gutherson? Is that Drinky? Looking at those numbers before, I do like the look of Drinky and the run they have to come. So I'm leaning to that. But, yeah, what are you thinking?
Mate, I am going to boost this week. I'm going to get rid of... I've got Shibasaki in the side still. He will be departing this week for Billy Smith. I am also going to move on Jenkins. I'm going to move Jenkins to a little pod play. Actually, I'll come back to him. Gutho, I'm going to go to Drinkwater as it stands right now. I like Drinky's run over the next few weeks.
Selling Gutho.
Yeah, mate, I mean...
Don't love it.
Why? Back-to-back 50s the last few weeks. Like, I also, do I want to be relying on, I've made the cash off him. I made like 150k or whatever it was. You look at, he's got the Roosters this week, Tigers, Warriors, Brisbane. It's not bad, but he's also got 2 buys in the next 8 or 9 weeks. So I'm just... I'm looking at a guy like Drinky to move to. As you know, I don't need to repeat Timmy's great stats there, but I like the stats over the next few weeks. He's got 1 bye in the next fucking 22 weeks or something like that.
Plays 18 of the next 19.
Yeah, 18 of the next 19. Got a buy in round 12 and a buy in round 27. So outside of that, he's good to go. And mate, I just love, as you said in your stats, the amount of games being played in Queensland. I like the amount of games being played in North Queensland over the next few weeks. And a few clashes there that I really like. Games like the Titans, Manly, Tigers, plays the Titans twice in the next 6 or 7 weeks. There's a couple of tough games in there, but I don't know. I'm leaning into the Cowboys. I think it's a play that not many people will do. I think other people are going to have too many other problems to deal with this week between Campbell, your Harry Grants, these sort of guys of the world. He's not going to play Origin. He'll be available. I won't have to worry about any of that shit. I'm leaning towards Drinky there, mate. And my last play, the Milky Bar kid, Tom Jenkins. He's sort of done his job for me. I think he might have a little bit more money to make, does he, Timbo? No, break-even 48, probably won't make any more money.
Depends if Casey McLean starts passing the ball to him.
Well, yeah.
Unlikely.
Yeah, unlikely, it says. 425k, I'm going to move him on with a 48 break-even. And, mate, I'm going to make a big play here. A lot of people are selling, the Kalen Pongas of the world and whatnot. I look at the Knights draw over the next few weeks. Warriors, South Sydney with injury, Titans, Parramatta. I really like their run. The Newcastle Knights don't have a bye until round 18. I love watching this kid play. I'm going to move to Fletcher Sharp, the Cessnock Curtin. I'm going to bring him in the CTW. Guy I've been eyeing off for a long time. I wanted him on draft day. I just missed him. I want him again, and I'm not going to miss out this time. So when everyone's selling Newcastle stock, I'm going to lean in. I think with Dylan Lucas back in, mate, I think it'll change the shape on that edge pretty dramatically. So I'm leaning in. KP and Fletcher Sharp will be in my team. I think this is probably the move that could kind of make or break me to some extent here this season. But I like it. I'm going to lean in. Fletcher Sharp, 591K. Only leaves me with 30K in the bank, which I don't love. Leaves me with one boost as well. But I'm not here to fuck spiders, Timbo. I'm making moves. What are your thoughts?
I like the Sharp trade. Yeah, I mean, he's averaging 66 in a night side whose attack is just horrific at the moment, mate. I mean, granted, he did score scored tries in round 6 and in round 7, but I said averaging 66 in their attack, it's not going to get worse. It's only going to get better. Holy shit, he's making a lot of tackles.
Yep.
I've listened to his tackles
They're
last 4
sending
weeks.
traffic at him all week.
25, 25, 28, 24.
Yep.
Not missing many either. Mate, he busts tackles for fun. He's a live wire. He has a lot of runs for a 5'8". I like to play, and you've summed it up well, but he's someone that I want for that origin period, and could be that little one where he comes out and goes bang, bang, and hopefully gets a few big scores for you before anyone jumps on. But yeah, I think he's a terrific pickup.
Yeah, so that's going to be my plays this week. Just had a little bit of mail come through, which won't overly shock anyone, but apparently there's a good chance Cody Walker is out this week, so dry grade a 5'8" potentially. So could maybe change our 5'8" chat a little bit, but I guess you're probably going to wait a week anyway against Melbourne.
Oh, look, I wasn't even buying him, but it's actually a bit annoying because as I said, I won't have room for him at 5'8" if I do go Munster this week, but for those wanting to wait a week, he's not going to score well against Melbourne on answer day. I can't see it, so geez, he was going to be cheap. But yeah.
Yes, that's very fair. Okay, so they're my trades. We've got your trades. Anything else to touch on there, big dog?
All good there, mate.
All good. Sit v starts. Now, I'll be completely honest with you guys. I'm doing this on the fly while doing the 1s and 4s and everything's going on. Everything's happening. You take us away, Timbo, whilst I sort my shit out for a second or two.
Okay, so let's base this on using a 4th boost and going Iongi to Scott Drinkwater.
Yep.
Basically picks itself, which is nice. My one major decision would be my 4th CT dub, Jenkins, Tamale, Toya, or Billy Smith. I would probably lean towards Tamale against the Dolphins, maybe. It's a bit of a coin toss. The Roosters and Dragons on Anzac Day. I don't love the Roosters players. Dragons defence relatively good. Tom Jenkins just not getting a lot of quality ball on the left there, so I'd probably lean towards Tamale, bust a lot of tackles and going well enough. But yeah, so then I've got Marju, Garrett, Kiraz at CT dub. Drinky'd be on my bench. I would have Hines on my bench. Terrell May on my bench, playing Corey Horsburgh at front row. And then Dylan Egan to be the other one, mate, provided he does start the game and we get that late change as per recent weeks. They play in the second game, so we'll know nice and early. If he starts, I'll play Egan. If he doesn't start, I won't play Dylan Egan, and maybe I'd look at another CT double someone. But that's where we're at. And in terms of hookers, mate, we had a good breakdown of the fullback options and the hooking options on the SC Playbook podcast last night. But with Grant out, I don't like this, but I'm just going to run with the Smith combination of Sandon and Riley each week until someone puts their hand up. And until that point, I'm just going to play probably Sandon and hope he can jag some attack for me because there's no one that right now that I want to move to.
Yep, very fair. As far as my team goes, I'm just putting those final trades in to have a proper look at it, but I think I'm going to be somewhat similar to the stuff you just went through there, mate. I think mine are pretty self-explanatory. I think Tamale might end up getting a bench spot in my side once I trade in Billy Smith and Sharp. It's actually going to leave me with a little bit more money than what I thought I was going to have. Have I fucked something up there? No, I haven't. Sweet. Yeah, so my trades actually leave me with 145K, so I'm in a slightly better spot than what I thought I was going to be there. So we'll take that. So I would have Fletcher Sharp on my starting side. Billy Smith would be one reserve. KP would be one reserve. May would be one reserve for me. And then, mate, I probably have to make a decision. I probably have to pick two, unless I go on to my CTWs. I probably have to pick at least one of Nicholson, Cant and Egan. I think that'll be Egan. And then I've got to make a decision between Nicholson, Cant, and like a Tamale or a Toya. I'm probably not minding Tamale at the moment, mate.
Yeah, I mean, Nicholson's currently an 80-minute edge back row that gets a lot of attack played through him, so I'd probably play Nicholson. I've said it a million times, but I don't love just the Raiders left edge outside Ethan Strange for attacking opportunities. Jade the try last week, Tamale, and look, he gets through a lot of work and bust tackles, so I think he's a decent play, but I prefer Nicholson.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, I think Nicholson, Sharp. Yeah, I'm feeling okay about the team this week. They're looking okay. Can I ask you, mate? We haven't really had a chance to talk about it yet. With all the carnage going on at hooker, me with Tom Starling, I think he's got a high break even this week. It's only 52. He can probably make do on that. Mate, I think there's a well-bri hold Starling over the next few weeks.
I think that's the answer. Yeah. Look, there might be some games where he plays 50 minutes, and whether the Raiders have a big lead or whether they're trailing by a bit, whatever it might be, it's the Raiders. I don't think there'll be too many massive margins, sort of, which is beneficial to Starling, but where he might score a 30 or 35 like last week. But, mate, he's one of the top averaging hookers in the game. He can jag some attackers, we know, both running game and creating around the ruck. I just don't think there's many terrific options to move to. We threw up a couple of options last night, but yeah, I mean, I'm in the Sandon Smith boat where I'm not expecting much from him, but until someone emerges, I'm not going to move. The Roosters play all three major bye rounds. I don't want to hold Smith, either of them, long term, but, you know, not that we wish it upon anyone, but I think the one that could emerge is if either of the Dragons hookers got injured.
Yes.
In Little or Cook, because automatically one of them becomes a big minute number 9. That probably becomes the play. But until something like that happens or anything changes elsewhere, I just don't think there's a lot in the position with Harry Grant injured.
Yep, completely fair shout.
And also, get us back there, mate. Connor Watson, and we spoke about it at depth last night, and I've said it a lot of times, but from round 10 onwards, he misses a minimum 6 of 9 games. That's too many for me, so I just don't think he's a buy, in my opinion.
Yep, very fair shout. All right, let's move to our captaincies this week. What are you thinking, Timbo?
I'm thinking we've got Cam, we've got the Storm game against the Bunnies, which is appealing. So I really want to captain Pappenhausen. If we can get confirmation that Pappy kicks, I want to straight see him. However, there is the opportunity to VC him into a C Nathan Cleary, who scored 116 last week, mate, without a try or try assist. Get a load of this stat line against the Roosters. 3 try contributions, that's a grand total of 12 points. 7 goals, 20 tackles, 3 tackle breaks, 3 forced dropouts, 3 offloads, 1 line break assist, so not even a line break. He had 11 runs. Mate, there's nothing exciting about any of that outside of 7 conversions. Just nuzzled his way to 116.
He's a fucking freak. A genuine freak. Yeah, he's one that I'll be seriously considering. I'm still kicking myself I didn't do it last week. The other one for me, mate, I've got Cam Munster, so that Friday game is very appealing for a VC, but just as a Drinky owner, I don't mind him against the Titans too. He's another one that I will seriously consider. It might be a case of VC Drinky into a C on Nathan Cleary potentially for me. It's probably what I'm leaning towards at the moment, but I'll actually be down there in Melbourne for that game at Amy Park, so very good chance I get cold feet and just play the safe VC on Cam Munster there, because it's going to be very hard to turn down.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I prefer, I don't know if you can wrangle it, but if you could VC Drinky into a C Cleary, I prefer that.
Isn't that what I said?
Oh,
if
sorry,
I didn't,
mate.
if I didn't say that, that's what I meant to say. I will VC Drinky at Saturday night 5:30, and then if that doesn't pay off, I will probably just captain Nath Cleary at the 7:35 slot is what I'm thinking this week. Yeah. All right, beautiful. Do we have anything else to go through?
Oh, I think we're pretty good, mate. I think with Cat in jail, we've got to spend the next 12 hours trying to edit this and piece it all together.
Yeah, this is going to be one hell of a job for the big boy. We'll see how we go. Thankfully, I've got my 5'8" here to help me out. But yeah, thank you for joining us once again, guys, on Beers and Breakevens. Sorry for the bit of the dysfunction this morning. We will have the late show.
Do we punch out a quick late show?
Do you want to punch out a late show? It'll be a little bit different this week, only the two of us. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Your call.
Yeah, we'll punch out a quick late
Okay,
show.
we'll punch out a quick late show. We'll answer a couple of questions for you guys. That'll be out at 8 p.m. tonight, maybe 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, depending on if I work out how to upload shit. But we'll see. We will find out. We'll learn the hard way. It'll be out at 8 p.m. tonight. Thank you for joining us once again, guys. Once again, sorry for a bit of the clusterfuck. Make sure you go and have a look at the links down below, guys. You got the Lontel link, 1 week free when you sign up there. You can pause it whenever you want and unpause it when you want to use the internet again. Second to none. Incredible stuff. And Bluewealth Property, they have got an event on the 29th of April. That's a Tuesday night, 7 p.m. via webinar. It is rent investing. Their bread and butter over there at Bluewealth Property. So make sure you support the people that support us here at Beers and Breakevens, and go and check out those links down below.